Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of F1 Project Phoenix, a 2022 career mode. Today we're here for episode number 3 for the Mexican Grand Prix in the second series. Of course, you missed the last episode uploaded last week at USA. I recommend check out, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more episodes of this series. But yes, coming into this one then, Mercedes obviously on the back foot, of course, because of course it's one race all now, and you know Russell can only finish third, so he is lagging Verstappen by 4 points in the championship. Hamilton, of course, has had a desperately disappointing start to the season as well, and McLaren and Ferrari come into this episode looking to try and beat each other, and of course they're hoping to be able to take on Red Bull and Mercedes, although they probably will need a few upgrades to be able to do that in favour of them and swing it in their favour, because at this moment in time they don't really have the overall pace against the likes of the Red Bull and Mercedes as well. You'd have to say that McLaren have looked slightly better than Ferrari at this moment in time, although Ferrari have taken some penalties throughout this series, so yet to see both teams go head to head really, see if they can have a huge battle for the podium spots should Mercedes or Red Bull mess up. But coming into the Mexican Grand Prix then, Max Verstappen took pole, 2/10 clear of Lewis Hamilton, so not really close there. Both of them start on medium tyres as well. Row 2 is all soft tyre runners, however. Not McLaren chosen to go on softs. Norris fractionally ahead of Ferrari and Leclerc. George Russell once again starts on the soft tyres. He's in 5th place. Sergio Perez starts on the mediums from 6th. I start down in 7th place, best qualifying of the year, and on medium tyres as well. Pierre Gasly is up in the top 10 for the first time this season. He starts in 8th place. Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel tripped over themselves in Q3, so they start 9th and 10th. Both on the soft tyres, so we'll have to watch Ricciardo on the start behind us. Outside the top 10, Lance Stroll starts 11th, and Alex Albon on the 6th row. Best start for Williams, the first time Williams out of Q1 this season. Gio only starts 13th, unfortunately, unable to get in the top 10 so far. Esteban Ocon is the lead Alpine in 14th. Not a great track for Alpine, as Alonso had a dreadful Q2 and starts 15th. Carlos Sainz has a penalty, he starts way down in 16th place. Mick Schumacher starts 17th, as he was in USA. Yuki Tsunoda, another desperately disappointing qualifying. He might be looking to be replaced at some point, with Piastri and Valtteri Bottas returns in last place for the day's Mexican Grand Prix. So Mexico then, it's a good track for me on this year's game, and historically as well, so should be able, hope to get some points. I mean, I also do have historically faded here as well, should the strategy not go my way really. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do on the mediums, whether the one stop is going to be open to us. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, but obviously 3 DRS zones. I kind of feel that our car does better on higher downforce, where there's more corners rather than in pure straight line speed. That's obviously the power of the Ferrari engine for you on this in this year's mod. But anyway, we're starting on the mediums now. The game gave me the medium, soft, medium. Now at this moment in time, I thought we might as well take a look and see if the medium, soft strategy actually works, because in season 1 we tried it on this series and it failed. It was actually faster to do medium, soft, medium for some bizarre reason. So we'll see if it works. If not, then we'll note that for next year, for one of the future races. Unable to do a one-stop, unfortunately, as well. So private lights of the Mexican Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. It's a good start, a lot better than Perez and Russell. We're actually going to have a look at, try and get Russell. Of course, they're just going to speed away with this, the speed that they have. We're going 3 or 4 wide up there, as we've got Ricciardo on the inside. We've had to step out of it to actually avoid making contact there. Ricciardo goes up or inside, but we're able to get back on the outside. Again, another warning for exceeding track limits there. So we're going to have a look at Russell around the outside. We'll turn to the inside. Will he give me the space? Yes, he will. And we're at the inside of Russell. It's a great move up to P6. Russell caught napping now on his soft tyres. Don't know if they didn't work there. And all this was caused by Russell's teammate Hamilton going slow, battling Lando Norris, as Max Verstappen has a huge advantage at the start then. He's starting to run away potentially with his championship. Of course, Russell is in the Mercedes, in the one of the fastest cars in this series. There's contact between myself and Russell, slight contact, but Russell's unable to get past, but it's only a matter of time before he blasts past with DRS, and that's goodbye, George. We'll see you next. We'll see you at the end of the Grand Prix. Again, we haven't really got too much pace to be able to fight the Mercedes and Russell. We're just trying to keep ahead. Gasly, to be fair, is actually holding on pretty well. So the AlphaTauri looks brilliant in these conditions. Well, in the hands of Gasly, I should say. Tsunoda way down. Us watching a battle between two Spaniards of Sainz and Alonso. Oh! And Alonso tyres has been popped off by Sainz. It seems that seems that in this final year of these regulations, the suspension has been made up of prick stick. By the seams of it, as Alonso's tyres, well, 1 and 2, get popped off by Sainz. Sainz lucky not to be out of the race, and that's going to bring out the safety car. I've decided to gamble at this moment in time and not to come in. I thought it was slightly too early on lap 6 to come in, but George Russell in the Mercedes has also not come in, and he started on soft tyres, as has Giovinazzi. I think they've missed a trick, really. And Russell is not had a great restart on lap number 8 here, and we're going to pull out of the slipstream. No, we're going to have to use all the slipstream. We're going to have to do this under braking if we want to take the lead from Russell, albeit for a short period of time. Down the inside of Russell, and we take the lead in the Mexican Grand Prix. Can't quite remember the last time an Alfa Romeo led a Grand Prix. As well, but obviously there's a lot of traffic behind us, so hopefully that's the plan, is to get it should just run away while all the front runners battle the traffic, and we can open up a gap as our teammate Giovinazzi gets overtaken by Norris in the McLaren there. And Gio is going slowly, and Gio is out of the race, unfortunately, with an engine failure. That's concerning, because obviously we've got the same engine, and also disappointing. We need him in the constructors as well to take on the midfielders. While Giovinazzi was retiring, Max Verstappen is going to blast past with DRS. We tried to go deep, but we go too deep, and Verstappen sees what we're trying to do and just takes a final line. And at this point, we're just going backwards at this point. It hasn't quite worked out as I'd like, to be honest, as Hamilton is going past now. He's on fresh soft, so he's doing a different strategy. Is he doing the 3-stop or something? I don't know. As we're watching Lance Stroll, is actually didn't pit. He started on soft tyres, didn't pit, so he's ahead of Norris in P4 for the Aston Martin driver, hoping him to catch up. Unfortunately, Norris does eventually overtake Stroll. Stroll actually pits, and that obviously releases them to get past, and then they go past me. And at this point, we were actually in an okay position, but we're not pulling out the gap that we really need on the cars behind us. We've got, I think that's Leclerc and Ricciardo, which block off Perez to become the most unpopular man in Mexico at this point as well. There's 50% tyre wear at this point. As Esteban Ocon in the Alpine have given up. Alplan was to retire both cars, and they're both out of the Grand Prix as well. Alplan definitely not working there, as Perez has finally gone past, although are we going to get him back with DRS? We will look to get him back with DRS on this straight. To be fair though, the tyres are 53%. We will probably come in on the next lap 14 and try and go longer maybe. I did think at this point we should I should in hindsight had extended this and gone for one stop, but I was concerned about the tyre wear. We was trying to go around the outside. Perez returns to the inside the next corner and we're back up into P4. Yes, I didn't know about the tyre wears, and speaking of tyre wear, Hamilton has come in for his second stop onto another set of softs, so he's 3 stopping. So with the sounds of Hamilton 3 stopping, you know, there's concerns for myself that will I need to do another stop later on, which would lose us a load of positions, unfortunately. So I decided to stick with the strategy and just go for a second stop onto a set of medium tyres. As well, we've got one more episode now. We got to obviously pissed up people, a whole load of people stuck in traffic. As you can see on the screen, we've got Oscar Piastri holding up Lewis Hamilton on his set of softs, and then also we've got people now starting to make their final stops on a set of hards, so we should have a pace advantage as well. So at the front of the race, it is in fact not making their second stop, their final stop yet. Verstappen leads from Norris, Perez, as Hamilton is out of the race for a third time in a row. The Pritt stick suspension there did not hold on against Vettel, his old archmenish, and that's going to bring out another safety car. And they've all pitted under the safety car for hard, and Norris has lost out big time under the safety car. He's now down to P5, so it's a Red Bull 1-2, Verstappen and Perez. A little bit too late though on the restart, lap 22, for me to be pitting, because Jeff has actually told me we can go one lap longer. We're going to try and get in front of Norris. The idea is to run away while these people on these hard tyres. We're effectively trying to run away from the likes of Gasly, Vettel, and possibly Russell, because he's stuck behind them as well. Those 3 are trying to. So we're looking to aim for 6th place, but moving to lap 27, don't have the pace, to be honest. The mediums did not have that overwhelming pace advantage compared to the hards. So yeah, it's not the decision. In hindsight, we should have done a one stop as well, or at least pitted for hards under the second safety car. But there we go. Hindsight is in fact a wonderful thing. Perez, unfortunately, there you saw him in the distance, actually had an engine issue, so his first podium for Red Bull isn't going to come into fruition, unfortunately. So we come into the pits, lap number 27, on to lap 28, fit the softs, and we'll see what we can do. I'm not holding my breath though. We've got far too much fuel which we're not going to burn because we don't have a rich mix in this year's game. So and to top it all off, there's Carlos Sainz, who's done, I don't know where Sainz is. He's done his pit stops, I think, and now we're going to, instead of being able to push in clean air, we now got to try and hold off a Ferrari. And to be honest, he's just going to blast past, because the Ferrari is far too fast for this Alfa Romeo. Really, we're down to P10. So it's not been I'm not going to be honest. It's been a very we tried to gamble, didn't work. We are going to come back at Sainz, but the point doesn't matter. We don't get points in P9 in this series, so there's literally no point. Because the top 8 are miles. Vettel, who is in P8, is miles away from us. Sainz on lap 31 actually just blasts past on and he actually goes on to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, just to show how much pace he had. Max Verstappen then won this Grand Prix, and to make matters worse, just somehow up for how frustrating this Grand Prix has been, trying to push on the last lap, this happened. So yes, I don't know what it is, but on the F1 game, this is an old thing that's been around for years. It seems you only need, although I've got reduced track limit warnings, it gives you the 3 strike warnings as if it's strict as we come across the line for a disappointing P10. Max Verstappen finished in P1. Daniel Ricciardo, of all people, he came out of nowhere to get second. So a great recovery drive by the Australian. Leclerc will be good. He's got his first pole in the series. Norris in 4th. Russell disappointing in 5th now. Mercedes lacking. Verstappen will be way out in front. Perez disheartened in 6th. Gasly and Vettel get their first points of the season. And 7th and 8th respectively. Outside the top 10, Stroll not really in no man's land, and then Albon finishing ahead of Tsunoda. Tsunoda should really be doing better, even though they all 3 stopped basically, but still as well. Piastri the finishing ahead of Schumacher and Bottas, who to be fair not that far behind, but could be doing a little bit better, I think, as well. Upgrades to come for all of those teams. Hamilton, the 2 Alpines, and Giovinazzi didn't finish. So Verstappen has already far too much advantage. He's 12 points, which is a race victory already over Russell. So Verstappen is like Manchester City now, almost out of reach, almost home, and we're only after 3 races of 14 as well. Norris moves up to P3. Obviously I don't score, so I dropped to P7, so a little bit disappointing there, but we'll try and bounce back at the next race at Imola, potentially with some upgrades. We'll have to wait and see. And then in the constructors, Red Bull are also cruising to victory. Ferrari moved up into 2nd place as well, though it was separated by a point to Mercedes and McLaren as well. So yes, that's where I'm going to leave this episode. If you have enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe channel, and you'll see plenty more F1 2021 gameplay, and of course more videos of the F1 Project Phoenix series. Until the next video, then I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.